Alejandro.
Alejandro.
Shout out to our friend puking during basketball the other day.
Oh, we're on. Sorry, my bad. Diego said Alejandro and made me think of the Lady Gaga song. Welcome back. Another episode, Suplex Biddies. Brought to you by Couch Guy Sports.
We're back again. Wow.
The trio's back, baby.
Yeah, it's very rare that the trio is back. We're here. The three
We're
of
like
us.
We're like a couple going through a divorce. We're back on and we're off. We're back on and we're off.
We're just separated, not actually divorced.
Dude, honestly, guys, come on. We were taking a break. Doesn't count.
Ross and Rachel.
Hey, Becky.
It was a
All right. But again, we're brought to you by our good friends over at Couch Guys Sports. Make sure you're using the internet one time. How many times, Hahnemann?
Once and then you're hooked.
There it is. Boom. This week, full card. We had double or nothing to talk about. We got some news within the WWE. It's a little juicy, I won't lie, a little juicy. Other than that, not really much in the world wrestling entertainment landscape. But before we dive in, quick message from our sponsors. Boom, 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 boom. If you need a massage at a moment's notice, do yourself a favor right now and go to exogun.com. Promo code CGS10 for 10% off your order. God, I used it after the gym, and boy, does it work like a charm. Exogun.com. CGS 10% off your order. And also, I'm a little tired, low on energy. Go get yourself, and if you're feeling like that, go get yourself some Shocked Energy. Shocked Energy, not that much caffeine, keeps you laser sharp and focused and performing at the top of your game. ShockedEnergy.com, promo code CGSN for 10% off your order. Fellas, let's dive in, shall we? The first things first, going into AEW Double or Nothing. But before we do that, Hahnemann, Diego, thoughts on the Jokers from the Owen Hart Cup. So for the men, it was Johnny Elite.
Yep.
AKA John Morrison. And then the women's, it was Macchiato, which somebody on this podcast called, but we won't go into that.
Good job, bud.
Thank you. What thoughts on the Jokers before we dive into the full card?
I love whenever he wants to give himself credit, but he just won't do it. Like, just give yourself credit. You already started. Like, don't be that extra.
The faithful fans know you predicted it. Own it, bro. Congratulations.
The faithful fan. Oh, that's heavy. Never mind. Thoughts on the Jokers, real quick.
They were great. I thought the Elite. I keep calling him Morrison now, but Johnny Elite versus Samoa Joe was pretty good. I am surprised that Joe moved on. I thought he was going to get screwed over early on because of his other feud that he has going on.
Yeah.
But now you get to see him versus, I believe it's Adam Cole now. So that's going to be a good match. And yeah, Johnny Elite, he just kind of showed up for a one-time thing. Tony Khan never posted anything about him being signed by the company or anything like that. And, good old Johnny gets to add another, fancy last name. The man's got a ton of them. So I'm fine with it. And Ito was all right. I think the outcome was never in doubt once you saw that she was the opponent. Cool to see her back in the U.S. Maybe she'll do a little bit more. But for me, it was solid. It was good Dynamite, but nothing. You expect a lot more, unfortunately, because of how much they've delivered in the past. So it was a bit underwhelming, but still very entertaining.
Diego?
Yeah, I agree much with what Hahnemann just say. I loved watching this part of Johnny Elite. Like, this is just exactly what you expect out of him. Entertainment purposes. For entertainment purposes. Holy crap! I can't speak today. I'm still processing all the tequila I drank on Saturday in Salem. So, pardon me. I don't know. That's all I got. I'm super excited for Johnny Elite. I'm happy to see him be able to deliver some of the entertainment that he's got to deliver here. I was basically on the same page as you. I thought for sure Samoa Joe would have been the one to just, take care of business. But
so
that's
for me.
AEW.
For me, I was watching AEW this past week, and I didn't have the volume on because I was in the middle of
Ah,
something, and I saw Johnny Elite, and the first thing I thought about was Gargano.
Yes.
And
They
then I
even
looked.
tweeted it out by accident.
And I looked, and I was like, "Oh, that's not Johnny Elite."
Different Johnny. It
But
was I think AEW is one of their non-affiliated, but like it was like one of TBS's things. It's like AEW on TV, like a big Twitter account.
right,
Actually tweeted out that it was Johnny Gargano by accident. And it wasn't not Johnny Elite. So that was kind of funny.
that's
You,
hysterical.
you wonder if there was maybe something that happened and maybe it was supposed to be Gargano and something
Right.
changed, but you know,
Maybe.
see,
I don't know,
this
Macchiato-
is why the volume was down. He was confused with the other Johnny.
right,
Correct.
right.
Macchiato, it just made sense to me only because if you think about the past pay-per-view where she was teaming with Britt Baker, it just made the most sense. Storyline wise, just to get Britt to move forward. So
Jones, it's Maki Ito. You're saying the coffee macchiato.
Macchiato.
I was gonna say, wait a second. That's
that
I
what
let
you
it
were
go.
laughing?
I let
What
it go
else
the
you talking
first time, and then you did it again, and I was like, she didn't go to Starbucks. What are you talking about?
I'm
a
like,
bit-
all of a sudden,
No.
AEW got even more bougie,
No.
and they went to Starbucks and they ordered a
Macchiato. Carry on. Sorry,
ordered a
I had to point it out. I wanted to make sure we got that
They
squared
ordered
away.
a macchiato with
Persuado.
light foam.
Persuado macchiato.
Same thing. But yeah, no, it just made sense to me. So let me dive into the AEW Double or Nothing card, shall we? First thing we're going to talk about, this match is going to be on the buy-in. Hookhausen of Hook and Danhausen versus Tony East and Smart Mark Starlin. Now, before I say anything, Hunterman, I know who you're going for.
Hookhausen, baby.
Well, I didn't want you to say anything. I was going to have Diego go first, but
Sorry.
Hunterman's choosing Hookhausen. I'm also choosing Hookhausen.
I cursed
Diego?
you.
I was also choosing. Hausen.
Okay.
Hookhausen.
All right. Next one on the card, we have the AEW TBS Championship with Jade Cargill with Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet versus Anna Jay.
Ooh.
Hunterman.
Cargill retains again. I don't think anyone's quite there yet to dethrone her.
Yeah, we'll
But
agree
Anna
with
Jay
that.
is going to come the closest anyone has. They gave her a big point of emphasis this past Dynamite and had her come out and clean house when the baddies were beating down a lot of people. So it'll be a good showing. Anna Jay is very good. She's come a long way. You can see why Brody Lee chose her to be in the Dark Order as he did. So it's going to be a good match, but I still think Jade Cargill is going to retain.
I would agree. I think Jade Cargill will return. I wouldn't be surprised if Red Velvet kind of throws off the whole storyline here, but I still believe that Jade Cargill would be the one to retain.
Yeah, I think one of Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet's going to be the one that takes the TBS title off her
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
You think so?
Not anytime. Yeah, it just makes sense. Not anytime soon, but I think Jade Cargill retains as well. Like Hunterman said, I think Anna Jay's going to put up a hell of a fight, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move in to the AEW Women's World Title. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb.
Thunder Rosa.
Well, Diego, I was hoping you could roll your R's for me real quick while you were saying it, but I was let down.
I can't.
Well, I was
Hunterman?
in middle. I was in middle of yawn. If you can roll your R's in middle of a yawn, congratulations
That's-
to you. But like,
I didn't see
Impressive.
I think that's just an excuse.
no,
Hunterman?
I
I
can't.
yawn.
I can't roll my R's, but Thunder Rosa. That's not it.
You think Serena Dweeb
Ah. Got her.
or Thunder Rosa retains?
Rosa.
Yeah, I'm thinking Thunder Rosa as well. This is kind of
It's been an interesting little feud, but definitely
it just seems so lackluster to me,
Yeah.
especially for an AEW women's title match.
Rosa
guys-
hasn't wrestled in feels like a month.
Yeah.
Maybe there was one on Rampage, but on Dynamite they just keep doing those promos on stage, and then like
Mhm.
Serena Deeb makes fun of Tony Schiavone and Dustin Rhodes, and it's just like, what are we doing? Fight each other,
Because she's a dweeb, you know.
slap each other a little bit, make me care.
Slap each other
All right.
in the face.
Hunterman, how about this one? One of us called this, by the way. The three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Was it you or was it I? I couldn't remember.
I don't remember, but we both did talk about how that we could see it being a multi-team match. and it seems it's panned out that way, which is great.
I'm gonna have to dive back into the archive of the episode.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know who to pick. Let me think. One of you guys go.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here
Oh boy.
and say that we're getting new tag team champions.
Hmm.
I'm going Team Taz.
Okay.
It's Team Taz
I
against
like
who
that.
again? Remind me.
Team Taz versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
They're
Oh,
who
I'm
I'm
going
leaning
Keith
towards
Lee.
too. Keith Lee. Yeah.
I'm going Keith Lee.
Can I give you one reason why I think it's going to be Team Taz?
Go for it.
Christian Cage turns on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Literally what I was gonna say, and I was trying to figure out if it was gonna be before or after they drop the titles, but it has to be after. So I think that's coming up. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Team Taz as well, just because I think they've made it known that they want more gold, and Team Taz has been so good and so prominently featured. It'd be kind of cool to give them their due and give them a little run for a little while.
Just think of the feud they're gonna ride with Jungle Boy and Christian, and then
Mhm.
Jungle Boy beating Christian, giving him that solidifying win over a top guy like that, pushes him to the moon.
I wonder what's gonna happen with Luchasaurus there too. I wonder if he's gonna go off and do his own little thing as well. But they have been planting the seeds for that Christian heel turn. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they made Jungle Boy be the one that turned, but heel Christian is top tier, and I think
Yes.
he can clearly still do that very well.
Correct.
So
I
but yeah,
need-
no, I think Team Taz makes sense.
I need a little bit of that in my life.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we go with the other match that might be on the buy-in? It would kind of be a waste if it was, but the 6-man tag between House of Black and Death Triangle.
I think that'll be main card. I think AEW likes to
Yeah.
keep it to one on the buy-in,
Yeah.
but that match is gonna be insane. We all know what Ray Phoenix can do. We all know what Penta can do. We know what all of them in that match could do. Phoenix, Penta, Pac, Buddy Matthews. It's just such a wonderful ensemble of talent. And I think House of Black's gonna get the win because I think they need it more and they haven't necessarily done enough since they formed. So I'm gonna go with House of Black.
I'm gonna go with Death Triangle only because, like you said, I do think House of Black needs it. But I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna pin Brody King again and keep the heat off of Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black. So I'm going with Death Triangle.
Okay. Well, you guys have very good, compelling arguments here. I have to break the tie.
Now choose.
Every time you break the tie, you end up winning the count. So
Yeah.
when Jones and I agree, it usually doesn't go well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When we disagree, and Diego picks a side. That's what usually happens.
Choose me, bud.
I think I gotta be honest with you. I think I'm gonna go with Death Triangle here.
Heck yeah. Fuck you, Hunman.
Screwed. Yep.
All right. Let's talk about the Elite versus the Elite, the Hardys versus the Young Bucks. This is gonna be a fantastic match.
Yeah.
It's a dream match, and I'm excited for it. I'm glad they're doing it in AEW because we all know they had that ladder match in Ring of Honor way back before the Hardys went back to WWE that same weekend, mind you, which was impressive for the Hardys at the time, or anyone, honestly. I still am struggling to. Jeff Hardy's not eliminated from the tournament yet, right? Oh, no, he is. He lost to Adam Cole. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So at least they did that, but they were teasing it a little bit too early, so you know the outcome of the tournament a little bit more. But I think you're gonna get the Young Bucks. I think something's off with Jeff, and I don't know if he's just getting older or he's just a step too slow. I hope he brings it, but it might underwhelm with how high these expectations are about to be.
I personally think it's just his body not responding anymore the same way that it used to.
Yeah. Understandably, the man's a freaking maniac. Was for years. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Young Bucks because I think Omega's not coming back for a while, so you're gonna have to give them a little bit more heat until they can become the faces again and be the OG Elite.
I think it's the Bucks.
Yeah.
Diego, you also said the Bucks, right?
No, I'm going with the Hardys here. I think there's one
All right.
last extra
I think we're
gimmick here by
screwed.
the Hardys.
It would be cool to see them get the W. Hardy has underwhelmed me, man. I hope he's all right and not working hurt. So I'm hoping they go all out and it's a great match, but we'll see. Trying to quell my expectations on that one.
I just feel
Let's
like
ta-
they got one last gimmick. That's what I feel like they do.
Let's talk about what was going to be Stadium Stampede again until John Moxley goes, we're not doing that. No.
We're not doing that crap.
Now we got Anarchy in the arena match. The Jericho Appreciation Society, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker versus Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz, and the BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club of Bryan Danielson and John Moxley.
What a freaking match, huh? I might be of the unpopular opinion, but I actually like the Stadium Stampede matches. Yes, they tend to be a little bit more comedic with some of their spots and everything like that. And I wasn't gonna hate seeing it again, but I get why they want to do it in front of a crowd finally because they're out of COVID and it's just so many big names at once, especially with Jericho. But I think you're gonna get Jericho Appreciation Society, I think, is gonna win it because they're still so new. And there's a lot of seemingly, I want to say division amongst the other team, but they're not established. And, one's a faction, one isn't. So logically, Appreciation Society should get the W. With shenanigans. It's not going to be clean. Believe they're going to cheat the fuck out of it. But
Logically, you say that
Yeah.
logically.
yeah.
But we don't think logically on this goddamn podcast. We think with our hearts. And with
Since
my
when?
heart, there's no way that Bryan Danielson and John Moxley lose to two dweebs named Matt and Angelo. There's no way.
Matt is wonderful. All right. I love Matt Menard.
He's a dweeb.
No. You're a dweeb.
Yes, but he's also a dweeb. I'm going with Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, and the BCC.
Okay.
I got Santana as well. I got Santana, Kingston, BCC for sure.
Okay, Diego. How do we get
Yeah.
screwed again?
I get to be the weird one. Yeah.
You're screwed again. Yeah. Woo.
Whatever.
All right. Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament final. It's going to be either Tony Storm or Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. Both of those. So all the Owen Hart Cup semifinals are going to be on Dynamite this week. So stay tuned for that. You'll find out. So what do we think? So first, Tony Storm, Britt Baker. Who wins that?
I'm going
Tony Storm.
Whoa.
I hope it's Tony Storm, but I think it's going to be Britt.
I think you're finally going to see one of Baker's cronies finally turn on her.
Yeah, I feel like this is the time where things starts to change.
This
the guard.
this is where I'm going. Hold on.
Nope, I'm sorry.
So Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander?
Ruby Soho.
Soho.
See, so I think it's gonna be Statlander just because of the twist and the turns, because she got added into the tournament because of what's her face's injury.
Well, they said Sheeta was hurt, but I think she pretty much was like, I'm not really hurt. I think she hasn't re-signed yet, and that's why they held her out of it. But that's a whole other thing going on.
Realistically, do I think Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho is going to happen? Yes.
You already saw it, though.
But again, to go on to what you were saying, one of her little minions is going to turn on her. It's going to be Jamie Hayter. Ruby Soho wins the Owen Hart Cup. You get Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker for a month before they try to include her back into the title picture. So I think Ruby Soho wins. I think the winner of Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander wins the Owen Cup because I think Britt's going to get screwed.
Okay.
Because it just wouldn't be a Hart Cup final if someone didn't get screwed.
I mean, that's true.
Well, it's the first one. What do you mean?
But just think of
Why does
the
someone have to
Hart.
get screwed?
Because I'm just going up Bret Hart, Owen Hart. There were a lot of screwing back in those days.
Brett screwed Brett, and you know it.
But I'm gonna say
I don't mean that, by the way.
I'm gonna technically say Soho.
Okay. You think she's your full on? It's just whoever is.
Soho or Statlander, whoever wins that. So
I think it's Tony Storm. So I'm gonna say whoever comes out of that match wins it.
Okay, so Storm or Baker. Diego.
I got Tony Storm versus Soho. I'm going with Soho, actually.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you Soho Statlander just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. The men's Owen Hart Cup final. It's going to be either Kyle O'Reilly or Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole.
It's gonna be
I think
Adam
it's-
Cole.
I think it's gonna be Samoa Joe and Adam Cole. And then this
I
is
think
where
so
I
too.
to
Yeah.
see. So let's say this: if I'm wrong and Britt Baker's not in the final and Tony Storm, there's no screwing. That the screw jobs are gonna happen there with Jay Lethal and company.
That's where I'm holding out the screw jobs. I
Okay.
mean, that's why I was saying that Britt would lose ahead of time because that way there's not too many screw jobs on the pay-per-view.
Yes. Okay.
So-
But I'm gonna go with Adam Cole.
Okay. Yeah, I think Adam Cole's a shoe in for it. He's come in, been extraordinary. He hasn't quite got that big W, and he's lost a few highly prolific matches. So it would be nice to get him another W and actually re-solidify him as like a main event talent. So I'm going with him as well.
Diego.
This one's a tough one.
It would be kind of cool if O'Reilly advanced, but I just don't see it happening.
That's that's where like my head is going, but like by the same token, like I kind of want to see
They can't-
Samoa Joe.
They can't have that faction break already. We need the
Yeah.
the elite versus the undisputed originals before that happens.
Right.
Would you put it past him? No, they wouldn't do that with the Owen Hart tournament. I was going to say like a finger poke of death where it's O'Reilly versus Cole and O'Reilly just lays down for him. They can't do that with that tournament. That'd be bad.
It would be in WWE, but
Yeah.
remember that
I
time Owen
just-
Hart laid down?
But you don't have to break up that squad, the undisputed elite, because you can still have a match between people and have them still be friends. I mean, they just did it with the revival or FTR. Jesus.
The rival, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
same
we'll
guys.
see. Let's see.
Yeah.
Diego, what are you going with? Sorry, we're distracting you.
Trying to
I
give
think
him
I'm just gonna go with the safe bet here and just take Adam Cole.
Okay.
I think there's way too many
Perfect.
factors all in between to just kind of take a risk there.
All right. Main event, AEW World Title, Hangman Page, CM Punk.
CM Punk.
I'm going ahead, man.
I hope you're right, Diego, but
I do too.
knowing everything I know about wrestling, this is a vintage CM Punk title win right here.
With Forbidden Door coming up, and you want that main event to be your biggest name against their biggest name, I think the money match is Okada versus Punk at Forbidden Door. So I'm saying Punk's gonna win it.
Yeah.
Hopefully Punk turns heel and they don't make Hangman heel. But I don't want Hangman's title reign to end because again, it was such a great story and him finally getting that win after that 2-year just bottoming out, reaching all new lows. Everything was just perfect. But I hope he stays relevant, but I could see him going for like the TNT title easily. So I think he's done with his reign, unfortunately, for now.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to touch upon the WWE stuff on me? You want to take the lead there?
Well, I mean, the only thing we really, there's plenty of stuff going on. Like just to touch on it quickly, Stephanie McMahon stepping away from WWE with the everyday operations. No one knows quite what is going on with that. Originally, it was because she just wanted some time or a break. Then, as the days go on, more info comes out where there was reasons behind it. Could have been the treatment of Triple H with NXT and family issues. Hopefully, the family front is okay between them two. And then there's also been the rumor that Triple H is back working full time in a lesser capacity than the head of NXT and all that. So good to see him back and healthy, seemingly. But the big news that has been going on that seemingly isn't going to stop anytime soon or get wrapped up soon is obviously Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out on Raw last week. And that story just gets juicier by the day, it seems. And I just don't know how they're going to resolve this because it still seems so unprecedented that WWE has made such a public thing about this because like they've never done it before. And it seems like such a bad look.
Oh, it's a terrible look altogether. And
Yeah.
honestly, like the amount of information that has leaked, that has come out of this, obviously, these are just reports. We don't know the actual physical story until one of them decides to speak out, which I feel like that's coming up probably in a week or two once the dust starts to really start to settle and problem resolution comes into place. But the just the simple factor of the second that happened, within hours, WWE making a statement about it, that sounds to me like there was a lot that's being hidden by WWE, and they knew that they had to cover their asses before it got even worse. And by doing so, frankly, I think that by doing this, this is the actual reason why Stephanie McMahon is taking a leave. I don't think it has anything to do with Triple H. I don't think it has anything to do with family matters. I think it has everything to do with the way that the company is heading, the vision that they don't have,
Yeah.
and the lack of sense of professionalism that they continue to trend. And because
Yeah.
she's in such a high pedestal when it comes to professionalism portrayal, uh, she's just like, I'm out. I don't want to be involved in this situation. You guys handle it. I'm out.
Yeah. Get your shit together, and then I'll come back.
Yep, yep. I feel like that's the real situation as to why
So
Stephanie's leaving. And more than
oh, go
anything,
ahead.
like, sorry, one more thing.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
More than anything this year, they've made an emphasis so hard on empowering women. And I think that the fact that Sasha and Naomi both being of color, both being in the minority within WWE, and both trying to write such an important piece of history for the company in itself, both walking out, that right there, that deteriorates whatever Stephanie's been trying to do for this women's division, which up to that point, she had been doing a phenomenal job leading that charge. So
Yeah. It's still so weird to me that the amount of times they've had people walk out, like Tony Storm did it, she quit on the spot. Punk did it, he did it on the spot, and there was never these press releases or like statements from
no,
the commentary team. And Monday's one, it was fresh. It felt like they had to. They felt like they had to acknowledge it
hmm
for whatever reason. But how many times have you seen? I mean, literally every single WWE event ever has said card subject to change.
yeah,
So like, how come all of a sudden now it's a huge like? How many times have you changed matches on us, and now all of a sudden this one is what you're gonna fucking put out there and put right in the limelight? Like you said, it's such a bad look because
yeah.
it's two women of color, as you said. They were your champions. They were very highly regarded amongst their peers, seemingly based on all the support that's come out. And it just feels like they jumped the gun a little bit to try and get ahead of it to try to make themselves look better, or they just responded emotionally because they were mad that they walked out on him. And then having them double down on it on SmackDown on Friday when they had Michael Cole, kind of read that statement, and like
Yeah, that was a cheap
the
shot.
face that Pat McAfee had on the side would, I feel like that was just the rest of us just sitting there being like, what the fuck, really,
What
dude?
the hell is going on? Yeah.
Suspended indefinitely, stripped of their titles, unprofessional, blah blah. It's like, Jesus, dude. So are they just gonna freeze their contracts so they can't leave, or like?
And honestly, it lacks a sense of leadership, because why in all God's green earth should Michael Cole be the one delivering that statement? If it's something that serious, if it's something of the extent where you need to protect the image of your company, that should have been done by senior leadership. Should have
Yep.
never been done by a commentator. That puts the commentator in a terrible situation.
Laurinaitis, Vince, or Nick Khan, the top three dudes, should have been one of them. Should have been the one to talk about it, or post a video about it.
Yep.
So
Even
I don't know.
Stephanie
It's just
herself could
them.
have been the one to talk about it, but
Yeah, true. It's just such a weird thing, and it just seems to be getting worse by the day. And every report you read now is saying that it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think the most recent thing in the last day or so was Naomi removing all of the WWE references from her Twitter bio and things like that. So none of them have spoken too. So that's another thing. You're like wondering, are one of them going to break their silence? And finally, like, are they just worried about a breach of contract? How in deep are they with all their WWE's contracts are all sorts of messed up.
I
Like the
think right
fact that
now they're
you,
just lawyered up. I
yeah,
think right now they're
probably.
lawyering up. I think they're preparing their steps. They're preparing their plan of action. And once that plan of action is figured out, we see them speaking out. That's why I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
in the next upcoming weeks, we will more than likely be hearing initial statements starting to come out, and then we'll be
Yeah.
able to start piecing everything that happened all together, because that's usually the way that something of this magnitude will go down. I
Mhm.
mean, um, I hate to bring this up as a comparison because it's not the same context, but it kind of leads towards the same kind of structure of problem resolution. It's like when the whole Aaron Hernandez thing happened here in New England. Okay, yeah, we knew that he was getting arrested, but we didn't know about his dark past that he had that was leading on to this arrest as well. That added on to the behavior and now the image that everybody has of Aaron Hernandez, right? So
Yep.
I think in this aspect here, I think there was a lot of um, mismanagement and unprofessional behavior that went on for far too long. And like Sasha, I almost say that I think this was a foreshadowing warning that she gave when she went on to the Steve Austin podcast and said, there comes a point where respect is more important than the paycheck, and if you don't get it, paycheck should never be able to be buying that for you.
Mhm.
And I think I think this is where it's starting to lead on to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep playing the waiting game, like you said. All very valid points. I mean, Jones, you're pretty quiet over there. Is it? Do you have any thoughts on it, or is he there? Maybe not.
I saw
Well, I
his head
guess
move a little bit, but
I don't know. Well, we can wrap it up, Diego. I feel maybe I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's having a moment. Think he's having a senior moment.
You guys
Uh,
talking to me? Sorry, I was daydreaming about Brian Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door.
yeah,
My
we
bad.
we were talking to you.
My bad.
We were saying
Uh,
what after we were talking about Banks and Naomi. What are your thoughts on it? Well, before we wrap up.
I mean, I understand where both sides are coming from. I think that for Sasha, she's just gotten to that point where, unfortunately, she's not getting treated the way she wants or kind of technically deserves, given her stature within the company and what she's done since entering the main roster. Um, but at the same time, it's a business. You gotta, if you don't like it, I mean, you can't just pack your bags and get up and go. You're still technically on the contract. So them walking out, I think, is going to be a step in the right direction, hopefully for WWE, that they can finally realize and maybe cut some of their shit out so they can figure it out and keep these highly talented people. Because if they go anywhere right now, like Tony Khan said, that AEW is much more popular in the UK than WWE is, and I believe him.
Yeah.
I believe Tony Khan right now. That's how bad the WWE product is getting, is that they're losing viewerships in countries.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I mean I guess the best case scenario that comes out of this is that WWE say they never come back and they leave or whatever it is. Maybe out of spite they'll actually put a focus on the women's tag team titles and actually let all these other women actually have their time to show what they can do. I mean, the rumor I was seeing today that doesn't bode well already is that obviously they said they're gonna have a tournament at a later date to crown new champions, and they might bring up teams from NXT to compete in that tournament. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but you already have women's NXT tag team titles. So now you're
Yep.
going to put those on the back burner just so you can put the highlight on this other one that you screwed up and built no division for. So
Mhm.
it's like they just constantly just keep shooting themselves in the foot. And the whole, like, I think it was The Rock that talked about it when Stone Cold left back in the day when he didn't want to lose to Brock Lesnar. The whole he took his ball and went home idea and ideology. A lot of people seem to respect Naomi and Sasha for what they did. I personally also do, as long as it was a mutual thing and one wasn't forced into it by the other.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
I
a lot
agree
of
with
people are
that.
saying
Yep.
that Sasha may have like pulled something on Naomi to get her to go out and walk with her. So it's like, as long as it was a mutual thing where they both agreed this was the best step for them and the company and the future of their careers, then great. So we'll see what comes of it. But it's just gonna get messier and messier. So we'll see. We gotta play the waiting game.
I think this story is extremely deep. Um, I think Sasha and Naomi walking out is a potential lead off towards bigger names in the company itself walking out. And this is
Mhm.
where we could see a potential either WWE sellout or WWE collapse. We've all wanted WWE to sell out to another company, let somebody else manage this company because it's already just a wheel of doom.
Mhm.
I have a funny feeling that as we see and we prepare to feel that Roman Reigns will start to take a leave of absence and focus onto something else,
Mhm.
that we'll be seeing the Usos also leave WWE, and it leads onto tying with the treatment of Naomi because we all know this statue there. It all ties in with Sasha. I mean, she's been vocal about her treatment within WWE. It hasn't been there for her, and honestly, this is just the icing on the cake. When she was having her mental illness needs that she needed to focus on, WWE made it seem as like we don't know what she's talking about. If she wants to leave, then she just can take her leave.
Yeah.
You know, but there wasn't really a sense of support, and this is something that you look for in your job, especially in something so competitive as it is within WWE. And she didn't get that. And I think whatever happened here might have just been the icing on the cake. It might have just finally erupted into that's it. We're done. We're done
Yeah.
here.
And then again, just to make sure we pinpoint all these things, the biggest thing was that she allegedly lost her WrestleMania spot to Ronda Rousey when she agreed to come back, and then they sent her in the tag title stuff as a consolation. So it's like so many different things, as you
Yeah.
said, just getting that constantly just like backhanded and demoted when then that bright shiny new toy comes out of the bin,
Yep.
And Sasha's fantastic. She deserves better, I think we can all agree. So we'll see.
We can. All right. Any final thoughts before we conclude tonight's episode?
No. Thanks again to everyone that stayed with us, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
One final thing that I have to talk about is there is a report that someone's schedule for the first quarter of 2023, he will be available to compete at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, Dwayne Johnson.
That is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I saw that today, too.
Rock Roman, WrestleMania, coming up. Stay
Seems
tuned.
like it. Hopefully no titles are on the line.
But with that being said, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Suplex Biddies. Make sure you're following Hunnyman on Twitter at Andrew Honey Buns, HUNNY Buns, BUNS, not Z.
Yeah.
At Diego _ the DJ, at T Jones 1212. Signing off. We will see you guys next week for another jam-packed episode. Shout out Couch Guy Sports.
Peace.